In this episode, spring has sprung, and I'm ready to believe the Martian hype again. Plus, Giancarlo Stanton's tendons are giving him problems. Who could step in at the DH position? Also, we'll talk to Katie Woo about a potential Brendan Donovan trade, and we'll take your voicemails. All that and more next on Pinstripe Territory.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
And just like that, I'm magically wearing a different shirt. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Hey, quick reminder, you can get Pinstripe Territory on the go. Listen to us on your commute. If you can't catch all the episodes this year on YouTube, we're on every podcast platform now as part of the Foul Territory Network. So go ahead and get that and give us 5 stars. There's a few things I want to talk about tonight. Giancarlo Stanton might not be ready for opening day. We had Will Carroll on Foul Territory today, and he kind of talked about a potential Giancarlo Stanton diagnoses other than tennis elbow, which made a lot more sense to me. But first, we have got to talk about my main man, Jasson Dominguez, the Martian, who I am hyped about, again, because it's, finally that time. It's finally his time. We've been watching him for years. And yesterday, we had one of the rights of spring training. You're seeing it on your screen there if you're watching on YouTube. Live BP. Pitchers versus Yankees hitters. And we saw Dominguez hit a mammoth home run off of Carlos Rodon. But what was interesting was that it was from the right side of the plate. It was a high fastball, kind of reminded me of that first home run that we saw him hit as a professional. I know some of you remember this, the people who've been following along since they signed him. Initially, there was this video that went viral on YouTube where, he had just signed, he was a kid, and it was a rainy day in Florida, and he hit a home run that kind of disappeared into these trees. That's what yesterday's home run reminded me of a little bit, kind of gave us that first glimpse of the $5.1 million prospect, and now giving us the first glimpse of what could be a very special season. And it kind of made me think about when Aaron Judge burst on the scene in 2017. It all really began with a big home run that hit the scoreboard in spring training. You're like, wow, he hit the hell out of that. And he had made some tweaks, and he went from being just a really bad hitter in 2016 who struck out a ton to being Rookie of the Year and probably should have been MVP that year. But anyway, Bellinger also went deep off of Carlos Rodon, who is obviously already in midseason form. I kid Carlos Rodon. But this time of year, it is mostly fastballs. A lot of pitchers aren't even mixing in breaking pitches or trying to fool hitters. They're just working on building up arm strength. And the way they do that is by throwing fastballs. They're not even thinking about location all that much, to be honest. So if it's right down the middle, so be it. But still, you got to hit it out of the ballpark. So, it is kind of cool to see him doing some damage already, but don't read too much into it. It does seem like his swing from the right side of the plate is coming together. It looked really good to me, and I suspect that from the right side anyway, he is going to be a high ball hitter. If you go back and look at his first spring training with the Yankees, where he hit some home runs from the right side, a lot of them were on high pitches. And, you go back to that Futures game home run that he hit from the right side at Dodger Stadium. It was a high fastball. It wasn't like top of the zone, but it was in the upper part of the zone. So definitely elevated. And what's interesting is if you watch him from the left side of the plate, it seems like he handles the ball down very well, and he likes to lay off the stuff up top. So 2 different approaches from 2 different sides of the plate. That's a good thing in my opinion. And also it's a good thing that, he hits that high pitch, because a lot of pitchers these days are trying to get hitters out on the high fastball. So, it really doesn't require a big miss, a little bit up or a little bit down to be right in Jasson's wheelhouse, and he might be able to do some damage. But I think about that home run he hit in Seattle. That was such an impressive home run. It was a sinker, or maybe a changeup, low and away, and he took it to dead center field. Absolutely clobbered it. We know he can hit the heater. We've seen him hit the breaking ball. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this rookie season finally plays out. I find his story to be so much fun. He got all this hype as a 16-year-old. They were comparing him to Mike Trout and Mickey Mantle, and then he makes the big leagues at 20 years old. He does things that not even Trout or Mantle did when they were rookies. 4 home runs in his first 7 games. The Tommy John surgery obviously set him back, but as spring gets closer and closer, I'm allowing myself to believe the hype again. This might be one of the situations where I'm believing it because I want it to be true, right? I mean, it's, wishful thinking maybe, but kind of like when you buy a scratch-off ticket and you're like, oh, I feel it in my bones, this is the one, and it's usually not. But I'm allowing myself to be a fan on Dominguez. I really want to root for this kid. I really want to watch this kid succeed, and I'm going to be pulling for him hard on this channel. So if you're not a Dominguez fan, I'm sorry, but we're going to be on the hype train here. I've said before that Dominguez can hit 25 home runs in a full season. I've seen some people say, 30 home runs as a rookie, 30, 40. We got a call about that. I'm going to make my prediction in a few minutes, but first I want to take a look at his StatCast numbers. You can see that in his first week in the big leagues in 2024, obviously an extremely small sample size, but he was elite across the board. I mean, the xWOBA, the expected batting average, barrel percentage, sweet spot, bat speed, squared up percentage, chase percentage. The only things that were below average were the strikeout percentage and the whiff percentage. The walk percentage also lower than you'd like, but that jumped way up last year when he came back. Some of the other stuff was down, but the bat speed is elite. The hard hit percentage is elite. The barrel percentage is well above average. I think that the exit velocity is a little surprising because in the minor leagues, all we heard about was, the exit velocity. 115 mile an hour exit velocity. What I think we're going to see is a high peak exit velocity from him, but maybe like a lower average exit velocity. He does seem to hit a lot of long fly balls, which, that's home runs, but you don't necessarily need to have them be 115 miles an hour. You hit one with the right launch angle, and 100 mile an hour exit velocity is a dinger. So he seems like he's a power hitter who's also going to hit for average, who's also going to take pitches. He's, if you look at the sprint speed, it went down a little bit last year comparative to the league, but still good. Obviously, defense is going to be an issue for him. Hopefully he has a good spring. It's one of those things that I'm going to be watching all year. I felt like it was really awkward when he got called up and Alex Verdugo was still on the team, and he was trying to take Alex Verdugo's spot. And, it's like if you're working at a company and you got a cubicle and they put the guy who they're training to replace you, like in the cubicle next to yours, right? And it's just like, well, maybe we can fire you early if this guy can pick it up quick. And that guy is just like, oh man, I'm struggling a little bit because of the pressure. That's kind of what it felt like to me. But anyway, this year, if he stays healthy, which, to be fair, it can be a concern because he's had some injuries in his career. He's the favorite to be the opening day left fielder when the Yankees begin against the Brewers next month. And, I'm just psyched as all get out. I thought I would go ahead and drop my full season Jasson Dominguez prediction as a rookie. So here we go. I'm going to be actually kind of conservative, but actually pretty solid numbers. I'm not going to say 40-40. I don't think he's doing that. I don't think he's doing 30-30. I'm going to say 264 average, 26 home runs, 340 on base percentage, 760 OPS, and 34 stolen bases. That's what I got for the Martian. The Martian. I don't know if that's enough to win Rookie of the Year. We got some other good rookies out there, but it could be, and it should be a ton of fun. Chase Zorowoski says, I wish we had kept Trey Sweeney. You and me both, man. He would fit in nicely at third base right now. He's got a sweet swing, too. I know he didn't do a lot of damage last year with the Tigers. He was part of that trade from the Dodgers to the Tigers for Jack Flaherty, and he was part of that playoff run. He did have some big plays. He did get some big hits. And he's going to be a major leaguer for a while. You can just tell from looking at him that he's got the body type where if he puts on some muscle, I mean, he's going to be a problem with the power. And, he looked good on defense to me. So I know the metrics don't say he's amazing, but, you give him a large enough sample size, he'll be great. And also, I think that, he would have been a perfect fit for our third base conundrum right now. Left-handed hitter, some pop, good kid, young, athletic, cheap. I know it would be another guy who's going through growing pains, but excellent point. I do wish we had Sweeney as well. All right, so let's get on to the little set edition that we have here. You might notice that we have a little ticker behind me that I'm trying to point at. It's difficult. I want to say this up front. This is not an ad. This is not sponsored. It's just a cool thing that I found, and I thought will add some value to the show. It's called a Glance Scroll Studio. And during the season, it'll show not only the Yankees score, but the other scores from around Major League Baseball. We'll have, obviously, the standings. It's showing the standings from last year. We've got the AL standings, the AL East standings, and the MLB standings all programmed in, so that'll update automatically. We can put on messages and things like that. So, like, if you want to propose to your girlfriend that you watch Pinstripe Territory with every night, we can add that type of thing. But it's, just trying to take the studio to the next level. So let me know in the comments if there's anything specifically that you want me to add to that. I don't think they can do league leaders yet. Maybe they will once there are some league leaders. I'm still kind of finding out about it, but it's like this smart device. It's got an API. And maybe there's a way that I can communicate with the people who build this thing, and we can get some of your specific recommendations, whether it's like team leaders, league leaders, whatever. But I think that would be a nice addition. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy it. Trying to add as much production value as I can. Also, we have secured a deal with the scouting company Inside Edge. So we'll be doing a regular scouting report on various segments during our morning voicemail show throughout the season. So a lot more fun stuff coming your way. Big things in year number 6 of Pinstripe Territory. Okay. One thing that I find myself saying around this time of year, every year, is after a gaffe, it's spring training for content creators too. And so yesterday when we did this voicemail show, we had an awesome call from a young lady who asked about a potential trade of Clark Schmidt to the Cardinals for Brendan Donovan. And because I had Marcus Stroman on my mind and I was kind of pissed at him, I kind of veered off topic and I never answered this lady's question. So I wanted to go ahead and try again. So you guys know when I make a mistake, I try and come back 10 times better and make it that much better. So going to play the voicemail, then I got a special treat for you.
Hey, just wondering if the Yankees should try and trade Clark Schmidt for Brendan Donovan to fix the infield issue.
So, yeah, first of all, gun to my head, I would make that trade. It's an interesting idea. 2 controllable assets, one a young pitcher, the other a youngish going into his prime infielder. I think that Clark Schmidt probably could get you a little bit more than Brendan Donovan, honestly, because pitching is so valuable. And he posted a 2.85 in the AL East last year in half a season. I really think he's got potential if he's able to stretch that out over a full year to be an all-star and to be one of the best pitchers in the league. So, when he first came up, I didn't love him. I thought his mechanics were crap, but he has fixed a lot of those problems. He was opening his front side too early, and so he was missing arm side on his pitches. It's a physics thing, whatever. If he's able to maintain the improvements that he made last year in the first half, sky's the limit for Clark Schmidt. But if you held a gun to my head, I think I'd have to make the deal. But let's ask Cardinals beat writer, making her Pinstripe Territory debut, Katie.
So you're a Yankees fan, and you want the Yankees to trade for Brendan Donovan. I get it. And if it makes you feel any better, the Yankees have also had interest in Brendan Donovan for years. For multiple off seasons in a row, they've called the St. Louis Cardinals very early on and said, hey, what's up with Donovan? Can we get him? And every year, the St. Louis Cardinals say, no, you cannot. The Cardinals are in the middle of a transition season. They're trying to figure out which of their young players will be in their core when longtime president of baseball operations John Mozeliak steps down at the end of the year. One of those players that they're planning on having and keeping is Brendan Donovan. Now, could this change when Chaim Bloom takes over in 2026? Maybe. But for right now, keep dreaming, Yankees fans. You already got Paul Goldschmidt, probably not getting Brendan Donovan.
Unfortunately, she doesn't think that the Cardinals are going to deal Brendan Donovan, especially to the Yankees, this year. So, back to the show. All right, next on our list today is Big G. The Stanton injury has shaken up camp a little bit. Today on Foul Territory, we had an injury expert. He's got the Substack called Under the Knife, and he had some interesting things to say about Giancarlo's arm injuries.
Now, speaking of another star in New York, Giancarlo Stanton. Tennis elbow in both elbows. Have you ever heard of this? And what the heck is going on in New York? Because tennis elbow and both elbows as a hitter? It's not like he's playing out in the outfield throwing with both arms. I don't know.
It's a lot of tennis.
Yeah, and there's a couple interesting things here. First, it's probably not tennis elbow. I think he was looking for something understandable. So, like tennis elbow, when Aaron Boone said that, I think it was just trying to explain it. It is tendonitis. With tennis elbow, it's a very specific type. It's because of the motion of the racket, which you don't have with the bat. Some of that vibration is going into the elbows and the arms, but not much. Even with these guys going in there and taking 1,000 cuts off the hit tracks or the traject, you just don't see this. Repetitive stress injuries like this are usually the result of these old wooden and metal rackets, and we've seen a significant reduction of that. So I think it's just tendonitis. I don't know the cause. He's always been a very tightly wound guy, so that could be part of it. He's big, he's huge, he swings really, really hard. But when we're looking at other guys in that range, they haven't had these issues. I think it's maybe a little bit interesting with Ohtani, given that he also pitches, so there's different stresses on the elbow. But this is just a really unusual one. I think the key here is that it was managed not just last year, but the year before. So this is an ongoing thing. They know how to get him ready to play, and he certainly looked good. If they can just do whatever it was they did in October for the entire year, I think that would be much better for the Yankees.
Yeah, so probably tendonitis for Giancarlo Stanton. Look, Giancarlo is, he's a freak of nature, right? He's one of these guys that just demolishes baseballs when he is healthy. Unfortunately, he's had a lot of health issues since coming to the Yankees. Michael Kay did a pretty nice rundown of it yesterday on his show. But as far as Spencer Jones filling in, I've seen a lot of people say, well, this opens the door for Spencer Jones. I just want to show you why that might not be the case. Last year, he played in Double-A. He didn't even get to Triple-A. And he hit just .259 with a .336 on-base percentage. He had 200 strikeouts in the minor leagues last year. So the Yankees are going to want him to go to Triple-A first. Now, the Angels are a team that have been rushing their prospects in recent years. Nolan Shanuel, I think his name is, and a few others. And I love that strategy of just like, if you think a guy can play, get him into the major leagues. But when your strikeout rate's over like 30, 35%, it's not going to go down when you get to the major leagues, right? So you really want to get him back under control into that high 20s range, as J.J. Cooper pointed out and Jeff Pontus pointed out on this show. You really got to make more contact if you want to be in the major leagues. With a spot open for a hitter for the first few weeks of the season, possibly, maybe even the first month or two, who knows, with Giancarlo's injury history and how long it takes him to come back. It is going to be interesting to see who they take a good long look at to be that DH. Now, maybe they go with an outfielder in right field and they put Aaron Judge at the DH spot. That's certainly a possibility. You preserve his health. You preserve his bat in the lineup. Everson Pereira's healthy. He could play right field. Also, there's a guy that's competing for the backup catcher job. Also has not played in AAA yet. Jesus Rodriguez. Excellent contact bat. I find him very interesting, and he's on the 40-man roster. So if he hits in spring training, he could be one of those guys. But for Spencer Jones to win the job, I would love it because it meant he had an amazing spring. But he'd probably have to hit 400 this spring with about 5 dingers. That's what he would have to do to make the team. And that's a tall task to ask for a very tall man. All right, let's finish with the Devers drama before we get to the voicemails here. This bugged me, even as a non-Yankees fan. Just selfish stuff in baseball. I don't like selfishness. I don't like selfish players, and Devers is doing something very selfish right now. Just as it looked like the Red Sox were ready to take that next step and compete for the division with the Yankees, Devers is throwing an absolute fit over the fact that the Red Sox signed Bregman. He said he won't move off of third base. He won't DH. But here's the problem. He stinks at third base. He stinks. And Bregman is terrific at third base. He's basically implied that the Red Sox, if they try and DH him or try and play him at third, he won't play and he could demand a trade. Talk about selfish. Absolutely selfish. The guy is signed to a $331 million deal to play baseball. just do whatever you can to help your team win. I mean, as a Yankees fan, I'm not going to complain about drama in the Red Sox clubhouse. But as a baseball fan, this kind of thing kind of bugs me. It's spring training. Now's the time to do what your team asks you to do in order to, create a better chance to compete. And if they're saying, well, we need you to be the DH or we need you to play first base or whatever, for him to just refuse outright, I just think that's very selfish. It's very much like what Gleyber Torres did. It's very much like what Marcus Stroman did. Now, Stroman, at least, is fighting for a year of his contract and $18 million. You put me in that situation, I might feel the same way, and I might act the same way. But Devers is signed, right? All he's got to do is whatever he can to help the team win. If they think he's better at third base, or if they think he's better at DH than at third base, that's what he should do. All right, quick word from the guys at Foul Territory about Orgain, and then back with a few more voicemails. We got, 4 voicemails to get to. So don't go away. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe while you're watching this ad.
Hey, this episode is sponsored by Orgain. And AJ, I know as a former big leaguer, you care about what you put in your body, but don't you also care about what tastes good? Don't you want to get a little protein action that actually tastes good if you're going to have it every day?
Absolutely. I had it today after my workout, Scott. It was great. I had chocolate, and vanilla and chocolate are my two favorites. I can't decide which one I like more, but I drink them after I work out. I worked out this morning, came right home, bam, 30 grams of protein through the Orgain. Perfect.
And so what should you do? Order both. Their new 30-gram complete protein shakes offer protein-packed real nutrition designed to satisfy those cravings without any added sugar. There are no quick fixes when it comes to your health. If you want more protein, give Orgain 30-gram protein shakes a try. Head to Orgain.com/FOUL30. Use code FOUL30 for 30% off your order. That's the best offer that you're going to find. You have to use the code FOUL30 for 30% off.
If you guys want a killer combination, I was telling this to AJ and Kratz today, get some of that chocolate Orgain, and again, it's like vegan, so it's healthy, no sugar, and mix it with some honey roasted pistachios. Holy moly, delicious. I'm trying not to swear as much, especially since my mom isn't feeling great. I don't want to take her off. Kathy Casper says, do you still have a shaved head? Well, I just recently had it taken down a little bit. It was growing kind of crazy, but I still haven't recovered. It never grew in again really solid after I shaved it for the Ben Rice third home run. So it is what it is. Couple voicemails here. Let's start with this one about Jasson.
Yeah, I saw the clip of Jasson Dominguez hitting the ball off Orgain, especially on the right side. That was a nuke. That was definitely something to be excited about, I do believe. So I do believe he was really putting in the work, and that's really good. I just hope his defense comes next. And I think he could be 30-30. I'm probably one of the most optimistic Dominguez fans out there, but 30-30, 30-40, I wouldn't be surprised. Thanks for the voicemail.
I might be a little surprised if he goes 30-30. That's a hell of a season. I mean, there's been some great athletes to come through Major League Baseball that never go 30-30. I do think that it's a good sign that he's already a good base stealer. He's yet to be caught at the Major League level stealing bases. He's 6-0. He steals a ton of bases in the minor leagues. He's on base a lot, which means he's going to have a lot of opportunities. The 30 home runs is going to be tough for a rookie. I mean, how many rookies hit 30 home runs? I mean, you're talking again, Mike Trout. Now, he did hit 4 home runs in his first 7 games, but last year when he came up, he didn't really show much, like he struggled for a while. I'm expecting some growing pains. Again, 264, 26 home runs, 34 stolen bases. I'll take it. I'll sign up for that every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
Derek, hi, this is Hugh from Bay Ridge in Brooklyn. How about a show on the Yankee bench? Bench looks frightening to me. It's very meager, very worrisome. So I think it's something you should really take a very close look at. Thank you. Have a nice day.
First of all, Hugh from Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. You've got a great voice, so you should do a podcast. Just the way you speak, the cadence, just the way your voice is clear. Hell, you should be doing this, not me. The problem with doing a video or a podcast on the Yankees bench is I don't think anybody's going to watch it. Like, it's tough. You got to pick stuff that people are actively interested in, so it's more of a segment. And maybe I will do a segment because the bench does kind of suck. Let's go ahead and take a look at the depth chart. We do this occasionally. Especially with Grisham out, we're kind of thin on outfielders. Let me just move this down a little bit. So, we got Cabrera. He's going to be competing for a third base spot with Peraza. One of those guys might be on the bench. Vivas possibly. DJ LeMahieu. Trent Grisham's been hurt. We got Everson Pereira possibly. Spencer Jones probably going to be in the minor leagues. And then we got a big competition for the backup catcher between J.C. Escarra, Jesus Rodriguez, and Alex Jackson. So you're right. It is looking kind of scary. And I don't blame you for keeping it on the back of your mind. Got a call here from the save situation.
Hey, it's a save situation again. I'm really getting sick of these half measures. But I don't really think it's Cashman's fault 100%. I think it's Hal. I mean, if you're going to make these investments in the pitching, you have to go all the way, especially you have a really good chance to go back to the World Series. So if you're going to make this investment in the pitching, you might as well make an investment in the hitting or you're just wasting your money. It doesn't make any sense to me. No half measures, Hal. It's going to come back and bite you in the ass, and I think it already has. Take care, Derek. Bye.
Half measures have hurt the Yankees in the past a number of times. Remember Troy Tulowitzki, right? I mean, Kevin Youkilis, Vernon Wells. I mean, come on. Long history of half measures with this current front office. So I don't blame you for feeling frustrated.
Hey, Derek, great news to hear your parents are on the mend. Prayers with you and your family. About the new 2025 Yankees, I believe they are a better team. And about pressure on Jasson Dominguez, well, he is picked in Vegas to be the Rookie of the Year. He's almost even money.
Nice.
I mean, he's hands down favorite Rookie of the Year, which I think gets
all those bets are
pick.
me.
You tell me about that, please. And I'm just thrilled about, Devin Williams in the bullpen. Hey, we got lefty balance now. Tim, oh my God, up with the hills on his back. I just think we're better across the board, man. I know Soda, and we made it to the World Series, and things could have been different here and there. But anyway, keep up the great work. Looking forward to 2025. Have a great day.
Appreciate it. You guys' calls is part of my highlights of my season now. Beginning last year, we started doing the voicemail show a few times a week. Love it when you guys call in. Love hearing your takes. Love hearing your feedback. So keep them coming. We'll keep the shows coming with greater frequency here as spring training continues to unfold. We are now about a month and a week away from opening day. So stay tuned. I will see you next time. Like, subscribe. Also, the podcast platforms reminder. And then Orgain. Link is in the profile. Check out Foul Territory's interview with Will Carroll today. That was great. And, that's where we're at. I'll see you when I see you. Hey, while I've got you here, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Pinstripe Territory is the official Yankees podcast of the Foul Territory Network. We are home to the #1 most watched MLB postgame show on YouTube since 2021. We're here after every Yankees game and for reactions to all the best news and rumors during the offseason. Be a part of the show by calling into the voicemail 718-899-1068. Try to keep it clean for me. And if you ever miss us on YouTube, be sure and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms. Go ahead and rate us 5 stars. It'll help other people find the show. Thanks for watching. See ya.